So today is Saturday, March 20th, 2021, and this is the start of an interview with Lou Desimone. Is that how I pronounce it?
Yeah, that's good
Okay.
enough.
And can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Good, all right. We're meeting at Lou's home in Jefferson, New York. My name is Bonnie Daly, and I'll be the interviewer. I'm a member of the Jefferson Historical Society, and this is being done in connection with the Jefferson Historical Society's Oral History Project. We'll mainly be talking about Lou's memories of Jefferson during the years he has lived here. So, for the basics, tell us your name.
Excuse me?
Tell us your name.
Lou Desimone,
Okay, and when and where were you born?
in the Bronx, 1928, January 16th. That makes me 93.
Wow. And when and where were you married?
Where's I married? In the Bronx also, on the West Bronx though. But I don't remember exactly the church though.
That's okay, yeah. And what was the name of your wife?
Catherine Sands.
How did you meet, you and Catherine?
She went to school with my sister, and I came home on my leave. I was in the Marine Corps at the time, and she was at my house, and I met her there.
And were there sparks right away?
Oh, well, I don't know. No.
Took a while.
That was my first wife. My second wife was the one I moved up here with.
Oh, I didn't
Eileen.
realize. Who was your second wife?
Eileen Sands.
Had either of you been married before you were married?
First time, no. The second time, yes, both of them.
So tell us, what was your mother's name?
Anna.
Anna? And where was she born?
In Manhattan.
In Manhattan. Do you remember her last name, her maiden name?
Vesey. V-S-C-E.
Okay. And what about your father? When was he born? And what was his name?
1898. In Naples, Italy.
In Naples. Okay.
He came here 5 years old to take care of the house. Imagine that. Because his father and his brother came first, and they got a house down in Greenwich Village. You know? And then my father came to take care of the house at 5 years old.
Wow.
And then later on, his mother and his two sisters came. You know?
Yeah. So
God
bit
bless
by
those
bit.
people, all those people who came with nothing, and you know.
Absolutely. And what was your father's name again?
Anthony.
Anthony. Okay. So when and where did your parents get married?
1923 in Manhattan, I don't know where.
Oh, so they...
Down Greenwich Village someplace, yeah. I think St. Anthony's, I'm not sure.
All right.
That's the picture up there.
Oh, the wedding picture. Oh, that's a beauty. We'll get a photo of that later, yes. And they must have lived in the Bronx, is that right?
After they were married, they bought the house in the Bronx. You know? At that time, there was only one other house on the street, and then all the apartment houses was built around our house. We had a house and some property next to it. Yeah.
Could you... I've heard that the Bronx was really beautiful back then.
Oh,
Could
yeah.
you describe it
country.
a little?
It was country. It was, you know, there was no one up. And East Bronx, where I came from, there was nothing there. That was Pelham Bay section, they called it, you know.
Right. Right.
It was nice then. It was.
Yeah.
You know.
Where in the Bronx exactly did you live?
Well, right off Westchester area, White Plains Road, or
Okay.
well, Whitestone Bridge was the first bridge that was built there. You know, that was it's walking distance, but a good walk, a good couple miles. You know, because I used to walk there when I got out of the Marine Corps. I used to like going out in the evening and go for walks. I'd walk all the way to the bridge.
Sure.
Then they built the Throg Lake Bridge up there, which used to be just a nice area. It was all nice small homes and all that. But it all built up there. It's amazing. from Bruckner Boulevard to the Whitestone Bridge, there was nothing. There's over a good mile of there was nothing there. Now it's one factory after another. It's all, all the way. It's just one business after another, and the whole Bronx built up. New York built up a whole lot.
Yeah. I heard a story about two girls who were growing up in the Bronx, twin sisters, who watched Halley's Comet from the pasture across the street. Did your dad ever talk about that?
What's the what?
Halley's Comet?
No.
No, he didn't mention. Yeah.
I do remember in the old days when I first started Armistice Day, everything stopped in New York for 11 seconds. And I remember as a kid, the subway, of course we could see the subway from my house, was up on the L on Westchester Avenue, and it would stop for 11 seconds. That was Armistice Day, when I first made it a legal holiday.
That's great, yeah. Okay, let's see. So what did your parents do for a living? What was his occupation?
Let's see, well, he had a lot of businesses, restaurant business in Manhattan.
Italian food?
Yeah.
Yum.
Right down in Greenwich Village, right there.
What was the name of it?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know, okay. And when did they pass away, your parents?
Oh, well, Mama in '88, Dad in a few years before.
Okay. How about your grandparents? Do you remember their names?
Yeah. Right above me, that's Louis up there with the maid. That's my grandfather. That's my mother's father. And he lives to be 89, and my father's father also lives to be 89. Yeah.
Nice longevity in your family.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And let's see, on your mom's side, were they always in New York as long as you'd heard about them?
Yeah.
And your dad's side, they must have been in Italy.
Well, but they were here most. Don't remember nothing from Italy.
Okay.
Dad always said he spoke, all Italian is different dialects.
Yeah.
But my father always said he spoke New York Italian. He could mix it up because he was raised here and everything. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's nice. Okay, so any family stories about what your grandparents did for a living?
Well, my mother's father, when he came to this country, he worked for the sanitation department in New York City. And my father, he bought a horse and wagon and used to meet the boats when they came in, and then he would pick up olive oil and cheese and pastrami and all that, and he would go to all the farmers up starting from the New York Village up all the way to Central Park. That was all farms up that way.
Oh my gosh.
People, we don't realize that, but like my mother always said, when they built the Empire State Building way up on 34th Street, she said, who would go way up to 34th Street? And then when we were kids, we used to come from the Bronx to go to Macy's and the Statue of Liberty on holidays to see the trains and all in Macy's. So we came down from the Bronx, But I guess in the old days, people from Greenwich Village or Lower Manhattan, they went up to a big shop on 14th Street. That was but then.
So you were able to get downtown pretty easily, though, because the subway had already been built.
Yeah.
You didn't have to walk all that way.
No, we walked. Everyone walked a lot in New York. You walk a lot. Yeah.
Nice.
Because you walk from up in the Bronx. We had trolley cars and buses and trains. You could get around. You don't need for a nickel. You could get it anywhere you wanted to go.
That sounds great. Okay, so we want to talk about brothers and sisters. Did you have brothers and sisters?
Yes.
Okay, who were they?
My oldest brother?
Sure.
His name was Crescent. He was named after my grandfather.
How do you spell
me
that?
Is Dex.
I didn't get that. How do you spell that?
Crescent. Crescent.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And then I was second. Then my sister Cecilia was Dex. And then my other brother was Anthony, named after my father. And then we had Ann was born, my sister Ann, and then my brother Thomas, and then my brother James. So.
Wow. Nice family. How about your parents? Did your parents have brothers and sisters?
My father had a brother from Brooklyn. He always used to come to the Bronx because he hated Brooklyn water, so he would come with gallons and fill up for the Bronx water to take it home.
Didn't trust the Brooklyn water.
There was a little too much chlorine in it or something.
What was his name?
Tommy, I think. Tommy.
Yeah. Huh. How about your mom? Do you remember? Did she have?
She had her brother was Vincent, and her sister was Nellie. I don't know what the original name was.
Okay.
And she had another brother that I don't remember, but he died.
Do you know why your father's family came to the U.S.? Do you have any idea?
No.
They never said.
No. I guess the gold in the street, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Better opportunity. Well, you had heard that when you were young.
Excuse me?
You had heard that when you were young.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess so. I must have heard it somewhere in school, something.
Sure. Yeah. So, how did your family celebrate Christmas when you were young?
We had big dinners always, a lot of big dinners. We all went to church, and we had a lot of music. I remember my younger brother, the one he's 20 years younger than me, and he had music at the house there in the Bronx, and people complained. So my father, the cop came to the house, and we had the house full of everybody was eating and all, because if seven of us came with our families and all that was a lot of people. Then there was a lot of friends and all that in the house, and the cop came in, and my father right away started giving them food. So he said, turn it off until I leave and put the music back on.
That's wonderful. Well, the neighbors must have wanted to be invited. That's what it was.
Yeah.
So what about that in the city? You couldn't go out and cut your own trees. So where did you get a tree?
Oh, at the freight yards. My father, we always had a big tree. We always had a big tree at the house. We had a Lionel set of trains. I always remember that. And then my father bought the Lionel set of trains for us. We had it under the tree. We always had a very large tree. At the top of it would be like this big, so it was never came to a point. And we had the trains under it. And as years went on, we kept buying parts. And my one brother, Thomas, has in her basement, he's got like 8 levels of trains, and they all run at one time. It's amazing when you get into something like that. And some of a bridge that when the train is coming, the bridge goes up and the car stops. So I bought that in the 50s, I guess, or something.
Very cool.
Always bought that. We had a lot of beautiful times.
That's nice. Do you remember? Sounds like you remember the people and the food more than any presents. Would that be? Yeah.
And then we had in a house somewhere, I don't know, when my folks first got married, I guess they bought a big Piola piano, with the rolls in it and all that. Yeah. That was such a great party thing, because when we used to have, before I got married, we always had parties at the house, so I bought records and new records so we could pump it, and everyone would get around the piano and sing the songs, you know, that with the records and all that. It was,
Nice. Yeah.
it was very, very good, you know.
So did you play an instrument, or did anyone play an instrument?
No.
No.
No. My sister took classes, piano, I think.
So before we leave Christmas, what's your favorite memory or memories of Christmas?
I don't know, no big memories.
Yeah.
It was fun. We had it'd be food all day long.
Nice. So what about Easter? Can you describe Easter when you were growing up?
Well, that also was a big thing. Went to church and came back from church, and the whole house, the whole block, you could smell my father's cooking as you walked up the street, you know. And then as we all grew up, though, Pop would make about 40 meatballs, and as all us kids came with kids to the house, they still talk about all the grandkids, you know. Everyone got out of the car and ran to, because every Sunday we all showed up with our kids, so they would run to Pop and he would have a meatball for them, you know.
That's nice. What about Halloween? Any memories of Halloween when you were growing up?
But we used to run around with like women's sock with flour in it. That's all, and hit people. You know, with the women's nylon sock, all
That's
nylon.
the second person I've heard tell that.
And we'd run around and hit people so they would. But that's all. And then around Christmas time, I said all the apartment house built up there, so we would grab all the Christmas trees, and across from my house was a little lot behind the stores, and we would pile the Christmas trees there. And New Year's Eve we would light them all up, and it would make a big, because that, you know, in the old days, New Year's was a big thing. All the families getting out on the street. Everybody was out on the street at midnight, you know, and with pots making noise and all that, you know.
Yeah.
And we would put that big fire,
Big bonfire,
all the
right.
Christmas trees.
Did you have children?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's 2 girls and a boy.
Okay.
And right here. That's my son here. Yeah, he passed away though. But my 2 daughters up there somewhere.
Well, and what was Christmas like when they were growing up? What did you do?
They had a lot of presents. They always had more than enough presents.
Yeah.
And then we would go to Mom and Dad's for dinner, you know, go to the Bronx for dinner.
Still going up for those meatballs, right? Do you have any stories that you can tell from your parents and grandparents before we go on to your own life?
No, not really, no.
Can't think of anything.
I can't remember. I know Mom they bought a big house in the Bronx when they got married, and my mother had her in-laws, father and mother, live with her from the honeymoon on, you know. So we all lived in the Bronx, and you know.
Yeah, so the family lived together to take care of each other.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. So I want to talk about the military. You obviously served in the military. You mentioned it.
I was in the Marine Corps, but I was my age when I enlisted in high school. I was a senior in high school, but I was when I enlisted, the war was still on. But then, by the time I graduated, the war was over. But so I never went nowhere. I went as far. I went to the Pentagon. I was guarding the Pentagon for a year or something like that in Washington and all that. I was stationed there.
What did you do at the Pentagon? That's interesting.
Just check the guards, you know, check the people coming in, and you know, the guards, the people would come in, they work every day, they're colonels and everything, you know, but we had to stop them, and I didn't know them when I first started, so I asked them they had to take their papers out and show me who they were, you know, and we put the flag up and took the flag down.
Oh, yeah.
And then in the evening, we went all through the building, checking all the doors during the night, you know, different, you know, because we were there 24 hours a day.
Right.
garden. It was nice. It was nice.
It must be huge. I've never been in it.
Oh yeah, it just takes you quite a while to walk around through the whole building.
Yeah.
There was, I think, 4 of us men working, checking the doors, every door, make sure if it was open. It was usually a cleaning lady didn't lock it after she was there. But,
What years? That would have been mid to late 40s then?
Yeah. I was in from 45 to 50, 48, like that.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. And were you an officer or an enlisted man?
Not enlisted man.
Enlisted, okay. And were you married yet at that point?
No.
Okay. So you didn't serve in any battles. That was good. Did you meet some of the men coming back who had served overseas?
Well, my friends I met, I brought them to the Bronx. I brought them to New York to see them in New York. Because from Washington, you used to get on the train with only $7 for a veteran to come from Washington to New York. And I would bring fellows and they would stay at my mother's house, my father's house for the weekend, and I would take them down to Times Square and all that, a couple of Christmas, watch the ball come down Christmas Eve and all that.
Yes.
And when all the people were on the street and everybody shoulder to shoulder, we just pass around the drink, went from one to another. Nobody worried about nothing, The girls would have a bottle of booze and they would give it to you, They didn't want to say no after all.
They must have loved, your friends must have loved having you show them
Oh,
the city.
yeah.
Oh, and did they get some good Italian food at home?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Do you remember the Cold War? Any memories about the Cold War?
Not that much. I was working,
Bomb shelters?
Well, they were here and there in the Bronx, but I don't recall.
Right.
Some people built under their cellars. They built a room so they could go down there if there was a problem.
Yeah, the governor wanted us all too, but it never
came.
Yeah.
We were all worried about it. Kids in school had to learn how to get under the tables and all that.
Right.
But that was just much after me. What was the Cold War? Was around 70s or something like that.
50s to the 70s, probably 60s anyway. Yeah. How about the Cuban Missile Crisis? Do you remember that?
No. Well, I remember we all were on the phone or the television when we couldn't see it,
Right.
But everyone was. You listened to it,
You weren't too worried when that happened?
Yeah.
So, did your father serve in the military, or your grandfather?
He was in the Army. My father was in the Army. World War I.
Where did he?
He was 16 years old when he enlisted, and he was over in France, and they took him from the front lines and put him in the kitchen. So, so until he was 18.
Oh, that's nice. They wanted to protect him.
So that's why he had restaurants and all that.
And they must have known he was a good cook.
Well, that's when he learned well after, because he was a young man when he went in the service. So then when he came back, he had restaurants and
Right. Did he ever talk about the Spanish flu?
Excuse me?
Did he ever talk about the 1918 influenza?
No, never talked about it. Even my mother never talked much
Neither
about the World War.
Yeah. Where was he stationed in Europe?
My father was, yeah. And my uncle was also, my uncle was in the big, in France and Germany in World War I. I forget the name of that big battle they had there. My uncle was there at that.
Bulge? Battle of the Bulge?
Yeah, something like
One
that.
of those, yeah. How about your grandfather? Or grandfathers? Do you know if either of them served?
No.
No. Okay. And I guess it would be on your mother's side. Was there anyone who served in the Civil War?
No.
That you know of?
No.
Revolutionary War?
No.
Okay.
They weren't here then.
You actually were born before the Depression. Do you have any memories as a child of the Depression?
No, not really. I mean, I remember everyone went to work if you had work. That's why most jobs went to work with cops and work for the city somewhere. So that's why when we grew up, we all went when used to have tests for different city jobs and all that. So we all would take the tests, So my brothers became a fireman. The other brother became I went to the post office, and he went to the Tribal Bridge Authority. He used to work on the Whitestone Bridge and the Frog Snake Bridge, collecting money, my brother-in-law was a bus driver, so we all had jobs. Our thing was to have our own house, so we all got married and had a house. My one brother went upstate a little ways, and the rest of us went out to Long Island.
What jobs have you had through your life?
Well, I worked at the post office. I worked for the city when I first got out of service. Because within 10 days I was working for the city, and then the post office paid a little bit more, so I went into the post office as a mail handler in GPO, New York. And then when I bought the house in Long Island, I got myself transferred out to Long Island and became a letter carrier.
Nice.
Out in Long Island.
Yeah.
And then I bought into the taxi cab business. I was doing that part-time.
Okay.
And I quit the post office in 1962 and went into the taxi cab company. I was from 50 to 62. I was in the post office. And when things got bad, but the cars went up so much in price and all that. And when I first went to business, you get a new Chevy for $2,000 a year, and then that went up to $10,000, $20,000. So, and then gas used to be, I remember gas used to be 7 gallons for $1.
Wonderful.
And then I had a gas station for a while too.
You did?
Yeah, and that was, at that time, gasoline regular was 19 cents a gallon, and high test was 24.
Oh my God.
Then I had a bar for several years, and I had the cab company at the same time.
Wow, what a combination. That's fun.
And then everything, I went back to the post office in Manhasset. I went back to, that's another town in Long Island. I went to Manhasset, and then when I moved up here, I got myself transferred to Schenectady, and I worked in Schenectady post office for 20 years.
Great.
So I was still going back and forth from here to Schenectady. I was 74 when I retired.
So you were able to get a nice retirement from the post office.
Well,
Perfect.
37 years.
Gosh.
Because I bought back the first 12 years that I paid for,
Right.
and then when I went back into, I bought that back.
Smart. Yeah.
I'm no millionaire, but
No, that's
I'm comfortable.
federal retirement is nice. I can testify to that myself. Yeah. So I want to know about this bar. Where was the bar?
In South Belmore, right on the water.
On the water.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that must have been popular.
Yeah. Well, it was fun for a while, but
How long did you have it?
about 4 or 5 years.
Oh wow. Yeah.
But I had a cab company at the same time.
Did you have a medallion or
Yeah,
how did
medallion
that
and a cab. Yeah, I had 4 cabs.
Oh my. So that was a decent size.
Yeah, we bought a Belmont taxi. 5 of us, 5 drivers. We bought the company together, and then we, as the town kept growing, and you have no idea how Long Island kept growing, houses and developments and all that. And it got so we ended up with 4 cars apiece. You know, yeah, because we met at the railroad station.
20 cars?
Right at the railroad station.
Yeah. Nice. Which was your favorite of all these things that you did?
I enjoyed all my work. That's why I never bothered. I enjoyed it.
That's nice.
You know, cab was good because you keep talking to people. You know, we were taking people on long runs and all that. You know, to the city. You know,
Airport.
Yeah, airport. And a lot of people should go to the city or call us from the city to pick them up, so they'd have to, you know, after a dinner or something, went to a nightclub and all that, and they could call us. We would go and pick them up. You know.
Great. Yeah. They'd rather use their own hometown folks than somebody. Yeah. Nice.
Well, we didn't overcharge people, and
Right. They could trust you.
they were all our customers. You know. In fact, one time I went to Acapulco, and I was walking on a tour, and a man said hello to me. He was one of my customers in the cab company. I didn't know his name, but I knew his address. But I picked him up, you know. And he was an accountant for a company in New York, and that hotel that was in Acapulco. He was doing the book work there, you know.
Gosh. Nice. Huh, that's so funny to run into him there.
Yeah. Well, then when we used to go to Florida with my family, when I was in the cab business, I took the kids to Florida for 9 years in a row for Easter time. And I would meet a lot of people, but I knew them by the address. I didn't know their names. You know.
Funny. Where did you go in Florida?
Miami,
Miami.
Hollywood, and that area where the hotels were.
Okay.
You know.
Not to Disneyland. Or
Excuse me?
Disney World. Not to Disney World.
No, that wasn't built then.
Gotcha.
No, I went in the 60s, like, you know. Well, that's a long time ago. You know.
Fun.
Yeah.
So, did you ever travel abroad?
No.
Okay. And any other stories? Let's see, you've been to, obviously, Acapulco, Mexico, and Florida.
Las Vegas, I was in Las Vegas 6 times.
My gosh. Did you win?
Huh?
Did you win?
You don't win. But, you know, I went to see all the big, and when I went, it was all one corporation there, you know, and the tips were good all over the ships, and all the big entertainers from Hollywood were there. So when you were on the plane, you would get a list of who was what hotel, so you could go and see them, you know.
Fun. Nice. Where have you lived? I know the Bronx and Jefferson. Anywhere else?
Well, when I first got married, there was no apartments around. That was in 50. And I got an apartment on 71st Street off Broadway in Manhattan. I was there for 2 years, and then from there I bought the house out in Long Island.
Where in Long Island?
Levittown. But not a level house. I had a split level house. It was beautiful.
Nice. Yeah. So now, how did you come to Jefferson?
Oh, I have a friend of my wife, Eileen's friend, lived in Breaker Beam, and we had gone there so I worked in a post office, and I had a vacation, so we went there for a vacation, and Eileen loved it so much, so then I came around and I went to different real estates, and I found this house.
And when was that?
In 82.
82. Okay. Was who was your real estate agent?
I think it was Wade. No, not Wade. From Cobleskill. I mean, from Schoharie.
Okay.
Right. I think Right Realty. Right.
That's fine. Yeah.
I think his brother lives over there on Westkill Road.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
They have a flower shop now.
Yeah. And the other brother-in-law or something was our postmaster for quite a while here.
Were your kids still young when you moved up here, or were they already out of school?
My
Your
own
children,
kids, my kids
yes.
were gone. They were,
Oh,
you know, they were married and all that. My 3 kids, yeah.
okay.
But I
So,
came up with Eileen's. Eileen had 5 boys and a girl, so I married her with 5 girls and a girl. So
all right.
you know, they came up here with us.
So, did they go to Jefferson Central School?
Russell did. Russell he lives on Enos Road here. He has a house on Enos Road yet. He lives here yet. And Shannon and Bobby is the other brother, Bobby. Shannon and Bobby, you may know them. They live on Creamery Road.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, yeah. That's the other brother. And then the one, that's the 2 brothers that are here, Russell and Bobby. And then Ronald just moved he bought a house from Long Island. He bought a house in Morris, but his kids grew up and they got married and they moved to Georgia. So now he sold the house in Morris and he moved to Georgia. So he's in Georgia. And then Raymond moved to Florida and got married down Florida, and he sent me a ticket, so I went down to the wedding. And then when he had a baby, he sent me also a ticket, so I flew down, and he had a house. He's south of on the west coast of Florida, south of Tampa. He's got a beautiful house he bought down there, a new house on brick foundation and all that, you know.
Nice.
And then Ricky, the oldest brother, just retired from the Nassau County, and he moved down to not too far from Orlando. He had a house over there, you know. So that's 3, and that makes it 5. The 5, and the daughter passed away. She had what's that? That disease that just gets worse every year.
Most of them do. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
She was in the nursing home. That's why I know everybody from the nursing home pretty well, because she was in there for 8 years. So I used to go a couple times, even after Eileen died. I went a couple times a week to see her there.
But did your kids talk about going to school here at all? Did they mention any events?
No, Russell is
from
the only one
school?
that went here. And he went to, when Bosie's first started
Yes.
over there, he went to Bosie's, and there was a bus to go to Bosie's.
So did he learn a trade there? That sounds like.
A little bit of everything. He didn't
Yeah.
do too much of nothing, no.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to go back. Then as soon as he graduated, he went back down to Long Island. He was living down there with his brother that was still living in Long Island. And he stayed there for a while with him. And then he ended up marrying a girl, and then he bought a house up here.
Okay. Oh yeah. What's his last name?
Stabe.
Stape. S-T-A-P-E?
S-T-A-I-B. S-T-A-I-B.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I know that
That's
name.
Russell. That's Shannon and Bobby Stabe too. You know,
Got
you
it.
know them.
Okay.
And then Raymond built that house up here because he was married to that dark girl for a while, and they were living here for a while. Then they bought a house up on 10 here that's set way back, and a beautiful house he built there. But then when he split up with his wife, and he went to Florida and he sold the house. But he was working in Eklund for a long time. Eklund Auto Parts there on 23.
Yeah.
You know.
Does your family have reunions? Do you get reunions up here, or do you go somewhere else, or do you have them at all?
We have them in the Bronx. You know, I had them up here a couple times. Everyone came, you know. But now you only see people when people die.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Well,
Like everyone was up here when Eileen passed away. The
yeah.
church was packed.
Yeah.
The
Oh, I'm
church
sure.
in St. Anna's was packed. I had a big dinner in the Red Barn for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When was that?
In February of '08.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
February 1st, '08. Yeah, right around there. Yeah.
And does someone still own the family house in the Bronx? You said you used to have the family reunions in the Bronx.
Well, until we always went there until I guess 90 or something like that. Now it's been sold. You know, we all got part of it. You know, my one brother took care of it. The fireman, he took care of it, and we all go down there. We take pictures of it, look at it. You know.
Good memories.
Excuse me.
Good memories.
Yeah. It was a beautiful big house. It was a stone or a brick house, you know, and it was 3 stories high. The ground floor was the basement, but it was just the ground floor, you know, and then the first floor was the kitchen, dining room, and living room, the whole floor. So big rooms, you know, and then a big porch out in the back, a glass enclosed porch, and then upstairs was 4 bedrooms, and a bathroom upstairs and one downstairs.
You needed a big house for all those parties.
And then we had, my father had a big wine cellar built under the cellar in the backyard, a wine cellar.
Cool. A little bit about churches. What church did your family go to here in Jefferson?
Well, we used to go to St. Anna's up here in Summit, but then that closed now. We go to Sacred Heart in Stamford.
Yeah, that's right. I've seen you there. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I go every Saturday at 4:30.
Yeah. What are your first memories of Jefferson?
I came here, and I first memory I have of Jefferson after I looked at this house, and I went to the corner here, and there's still a sign says Jefferson Business District. So I made the turn, and a bunch of kids were there, so I stopped the car and I said to the kids, I said, "Where's the business district?" And the kids said, "You're in it." Because the only thing was right there was that little building that's still there. That was the post office. That building that's still there, that little little step that
on
was
the
a throw
left.
ball was up on top of it for a long time.
As you're heading up the hill, right, into town.
Right there. You know,
Right.
before the church. You know.
Right.
That was the post office.
Yeah.
That was in 1982.
82.
Yeah.
It was still the post office then.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a bad memory. All right.
And Faye, I forget her first name. I did know her, but Ludmeyer, Mrs. Ludmeyer was the postmaster there when I came.
Switch. What other businesses in town do you remember? Do you remember the general stores?
Yes. General store right next to the Heartbreak there. Was a general store. It was really something to look at because I come from the city. You know, when you first walked in, on the left was a little soda fountain where you get a soda or ice cream, and then a little bit further there was overalls and all that, and then in the back there was meat and stuff like that, and vegetables, and then there was hardware stuff on the other side and all that.
Yeah.
It was a general store.
Yeah, that was Mitterer's, right?
Yeah.
Did you know either of the George Rivera?
No. It was just about when they were almost closed, and the ones on the end there. And the hardware store that was where the Breakfast Club is, that was a big hardware store when I first came here. And that was there for quite a while, even after I was here.
Now, where exactly was that?
But where the Breakfast Club is?
Yes, okay.
That building with a big hardware store there.
Right, yeah. Was that, oh gosh,
Excuse me?
Dittmeyer. Was that Dittmeyer's?
I don't remember the names.
Okay.
I'm not good with names.
So did you go to the Heartbreak, or?
Oh yeah. Heartbreak had several different owners through the years.
Do you remember what it was called when you first went there?
Heartbreak.
It was, okay.
That was in 82, hasn't changed since then.
All right.
But before that, I understand, had several different names.
Yeah.
Like the other store, the other bar down there, that was closed before I came, so I never knew Lou and Mart, or whoever it was, ran that other liquor store down. I remember though when Bruno's opened it was a very nice restaurant and a dance floor and everything,
Right.
but he didn't last very long, maybe 3 years or something.
Right. That was so. Bruno's was once Golfetto's and is now the Mill Pond Inn. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's putting a lot of money into it. He's still doing it.
Oh, the current owner, you mean David?
Yeah,
Salvatore. Yeah. Are you happy to see that all coming about?
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
good. It makes
Yeah.
the town look good, I think,
Mm-hmm.
But his prices is very high. I went there a couple times and
What do you
everything's
think?
very high in there.
You've been away from the city too long.
Huh?
You've been away from the city too long. Do you remember, was there still a second general store in Jefferson when you moved here?
No, just that one
Oh,
general
just the
store.
one.
I only remember one,
Okay.
That was that building that now I think Buck owns it. He has people living in that building.
Right.
That was a general store on the bottom floor. So on the other side, there was never, never remember anything in that store. I understand it was a butcher and a lot of other things. And
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's gone. Okay. Any stories you can tell about any of those businesses or the people who owned them? Did you know? You must
No.
have known. Well, Bruno's. You mentioned Bruno. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Bruno's. That was something I would go because I was working in Schenectady. I was leaving here every morning and going to Schenectady, and I would work 10 hours a day in Schenectady post office
Yeah.
and 2 hours traveling, and then I came here and my wife had me digging up stones here and all that. Because we didn't know that cemetery in the back there, we didn't know it was a cemetery when we bought the house. Then as we walked to the back, we seen it was all grown weeds like over all the stones, so we didn't see the stones. Then Eileen found the stones and she started cutting the weeds down, and then where the stones were sunk, she had me get dirt from the other pile that was out there, and I leveled it off. That's why the cemetery, the old cemetery, I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's very nice, because I keep it going every year. I keep it nice.
Well, in fact, I wanted to ask you about that. What inspired you to start taking care of the cemetery?
Eileen started. She used to clean it up, and then she was with the little lawnmower be low and the flag that's there we put there. Eileen and I put the flag there.
And you kept it up after she was gone.
Yeah.
Was that in her memory, or?
Well, it just now I get paid for it, but when she did it, she never got paid. She used to have to argue with old man Buck to get $5 for gas.
Seriously, for the lawnmower. Got to watch the budget in town,
Yeah.
And
then
another.
when we bought the extra land out there, everyone says to me I should make a drive range out of it. And then Eileen, we did. We built those tee-offs and we leveled off the whole land, but it wasn't level like that. Eileen worked hard with that. She had me, when I came home from work, I had to get the dirt, strain it, and bring it around to make it level,
Gosh.
And,
How long did that take to set it up?
Couple
as a
years.
driving? And is it pretty popular? Do you get people?
For a while it was, but
Uh-huh.
then things change. People go up, people move. Used to be people came up here on weekends looking for something to do, because we also used to rent out all the tapes you see here. We used to rent out tapes to people. They would come up on a Friday, maybe pick up 5 tapes, and then they would leave them back when they were going back home on Sunday morning or Sunday night, or Monday morning, wherever they left.
Sure.
They would leave it in the mailbox or that's a thing out there. Yeah.
So you had lots of movies to rent to them.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Huh. Well, that's fun. And was the driving range one of the reasons that you found the cemetery, or had you found the cemetery before
First,
that?
we found the cemetery long before the driving range.
Okay, got it.
Because the driving range, it wasn't, see, the land back there wasn't for sale. It was, well, like one big, Taylor owned it, and it was one big piece of property. Then someone bought it, and they broke it up, and then they were gonna, there's a, after the second house down here, there's a driveway, there's a fence there I have, but that's 35 foot of my property there. So I figured someone would buy that and put a trailer, you know, buy that 7 acre piece of property that I bought and put that, so my view of the back here would be the back of a trailer. So
Oh, no.
that's why we bought it, so not, so a trailer wouldn't put, you know.
Good for
so
you.
that, and then,
Well, that helped the town too, because we didn't really want a trailer right there on the road either. You mentioned that Doc Duell had used this house, in fact, this kitchen, as his operating room at some point. Can you tell us a little bit about what you know about that?
that's just, I know about it. I mean, from Charlie Reed, who was the television man, he said he has his appendix taken out on the table.
Oh my gosh.
And Charlie Buck, who also was in town, so he knows a lot of people, like Marge, if you ever say Marge Haight,
Yes.
she knows more about Dr. Duell, but I never met the man. You know?
Oh yeah, I knew him.
But I was told that he was just a scientist ahead of time. But he did some that they weren't even doing in hospitals, but he did them here, you know.
Oh.
Yeah.
For better or worse.
Yeah.
But this was one, I knew there were more than one, but this was one of his hospitals then.
Yeah, yeah.
What about special traditions that your family had about food? You're obviously Italian, and your dad had restaurants. Are there any special foods that you remember?
Food is all good to me. Even when I went in the Marine Corps, it was just cooked different, that's all. It wasn't Mama's cooking, but it was always good. I never pushed back any food.
Oh, that's good. Are there any recipes that have been preserved and passed down in your family?
We all make good tomato sauce for macaroni. The whole thing is make good pot of sauce. You start with a good piece of meat, and let it cook in there, burn, and throw different stuff in it. Let it cook for a couple hours.
Yeah. Would you like to share any recipes with us for a cookbook?
I don't have any anymore. I hardly cook at all. I get my food pantry comes here, the Meals on Wheels or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That comes 5 days a week. I get meals there.
That's wonderful.
Then I got people bring me food. Like the people who own the Breakfast Club. They bring me food almost every night.
Oh my gosh. Well, you're a pretty popular guy, so I would think, yeah. They want to make sure you're
I'm
well
not
fed.
popular, but
Oh, yeah, you are.
I'm just around all the time. When people are in the hospital, I always go see them. All the seniors and all that. So many have passed away, though. Yeah.
Well, I've seen you, visiting when I've gone to the East End Garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go there every morning. I bring the mail to them. I used to make coffee there, but when everyone used to drink coffee, that was my first job. And when I retired, to get there and make coffee in the morning, But
Get them started in the morning. Get them going. Yeah. And also over at Jim Steele's, working on the
I'm always there with Jim.
lawnmowers.
Yeah. I became very friendly with Jim Steele. And
Good guy.
And my friend Mike Tully, his wife got that nursery down in town there.
I'm not sure I know that one. Oh, preschool. Yes, yes.
Yeah, Mike Tully and his wife.
Right.
Kim. Yeah.
Nice.
I'm very friendly with both of them.
Yeah.
When I had my hip operation, they were always here to help me.
That's great. So you really keep up the friendships in the community. You're kind of the
I
glue
used to,
that holds everybody together.
You know, the ladies from the senior club, not from the senior side that goes around to wash people and all that, you know.
Yeah.
So I would go to Frank Ludmeier's house, and she'd be there, I meet her there, and then I would go to Charlie Buck's house, and I would meet her there, and then I would go to Frank's brother, Ludmeier, Phil Ludmeier. I would meet her there. And I would meet them all over, you know. I always went to visit all these people.
Yeah.
And then the people who owned the Breakfast Club, his wife was in a hospital in Schenectady, and I went early in the morning when I was leaving. The man coming up for the elevator was her husband.
You were there early.
You know, I used to go and Kenny, Phil's wife, Phil Harris, when he was sick, every Sunday I would stop by and see him at his house, you know, so that's why I know him very well.
Yeah.
And Stephanie,
Yes.
her husband was sick. I always went to see him.
Oh,
And then
that's
the
wonderful.
day I went to see him, I was coming back from Schenectady because he was away in Ellis Hospital there, and I was seeing him, and a trailer truck hit me in it was started snowing, and he lost control of his truck and hit me in one of my Jeeps and hit me in the back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gosh. Did you both end up in the hospital? What happened?
No, I ended up in the hospital, but you know, it hit the back of the car and spun it around. But
Yeah, pretty scary.
yeah, did a lot of damage to the car.
Yeah, but not to you.
No.
Or to him.
Excuse me?
Or to him. No damage to him either. That was lucky. Wow. So you mentioned a snowstorm that you know caused that accident. Do you remember some pretty bad snowstorms here in town?
Oh yeah.
Can you tell us any stories about them?
Oh, one I used to leave here at 3:30 in the morning. So when I would leave, the snow plow from Stanford would come to Merchant Road and turn around. So I would go to Merchant Road and wait for the plow to come from Richmondville. They would come up the hill because as he turned around. So I would wait there until he got there, because the big thing in the early morning when you don't know where the road is, you know, someone that drives, you know, you don't. There's no markers on the road, you know, until they plow. They know what they're following when they're plowing.
Yeah.
So, you know, so that's why I used to wait for the truck before I was going to work. But they always laughed in Schenectady. All the storms, I was always there, never late. I was always there early. And guys that could walk there would call in that they couldn't make it.
Did you follow the snowplow, or how did that work?
That followed the plowback, yeah.
Good.
Well, if he came up, then I had, you know, of course he had cleaned it was, so I could see which way to go back, you know.
Right. Cool.
I did that for 20 years. I went back and forth. Yeah.
To Schenectady.
Time goes quick. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do you have any photos of some of those snowstorms?
No.
No. Oh.
No. And one morning I went out here to go to work, and I opened the door, and the snow was halfway up the door of the garage. So I came back. I called. I can't go to work today.
Oh,
So
the one time you missed.
yeah, it was like 30 inches of snow out there.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had people comment that when they come up from the valley, from Schoharie Valley, it's a whole different climate up here.
Yeah.
How about after you came up to Jefferson? Do you remember Old Home Day?
Up here? Yes.
Yeah, you
I
do?
remember. About the second week we were here, was Maple Festival, and as I said, there was nothing in Jefferson, and all of a sudden there was cars all over here. It was so busy, and then they used to have that big Taylor Farm was where they parked cars, and they had horse and wagon taking people from the parking lot to the village, and no fare, no price,
Yeah.
and we were so surprised, that so many people, because they didn't realize there was like 7 girls were participating for the Queen. So that was from 7 schools. We had 7 schools here with kids from their 7 schools that were, and it was a lot of people here.
That's nice. Yeah.
And then they used to have that fun day here, because Eileen got a bed, and we ran that bed race.
You were in the bed races. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the bed race, the one end of you around the green there, from the post office up to town again. It's uphill, so we had Doug Micah, the guy. We had him meet us down there. Eileen made it so he would pick up with a tow truck, a hook on it, and we all jumped on the bed. He pulled us up to the finish line just for the joke of it, and then someone had a bed that they had a canopy on it and all silk sheets. Ooh. And when you're making the turn, after you pass, it's downhill a little bit when you pass the church, and then down where the parking lot is, you make the hard turn. They fell off the bed because they all had silk pajamas on and silk sheets, and they all went flying off the bed.
That's great.
That was a fun day, really, the whole thing. The Heartbreak had the beer outside on a porch there, It was a fun day.
That sounds wonderful. How many beds do you think were in the race? Do you remember?
Oh, maybe 8 or something like that.
That many.
Every year was a big thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Had you had maple syrup or maple candy before you moved up here?
No.
It was all new. So what was your favorite part about the Maple Festival, besides the Maple Queen and all the girls from the different schools?
Well, it was fun. The whole day was fun.
Yeah.
And
what did they do?
It was interesting, it was just a nice day,
So you got to see how maple syrup was made?
Yeah. Well, cooking down 35 gallons to make one gallon,
Yeah.
It was amazing, really, But that was before all these hoses that you see out now. Every tree had a pail on it, or 2 pails on every tree, and they had to walk to empty those pails. It was such a hard project. That's why the syrup was so expensive,
Yeah. Where did they have the demonstrations of the boiling down of the sap?
Well, actually, I'd seen it in Buck's place there on Buck's factory there. He put me in. He showed me how they make it there.
Sure.
Well, my wife, did she guys and Mrs. Rossi, Eileen dressed up as Donald Duck, and she had Mrs. Rossi was also some outfit that Eileen made her, and they walked around Maple Festival Day and got selling balloons for $1 a balloon or something like that.
Fun.
And with that, they did it for 2 or 3 years, and then she also went around to all the stores and got little gifts that she could, at the tent before the Maple Queens came out, she would raffle off the gifts that she sold the chances to, because she got all the gifts from all the stores in Cobleskill or Stanford, that would give us a little something that she could raffle off, even a 6-pack of soda or something like that,
Yeah.
And she worked hard at that, and then the second year she had more costumes, and all that. I don't know if you remember, Eileen had in those parades, she had all the costumes. There was like 50 costumes that she made. She used to make all the costumes, and they were in a parade. If anyone remembers seeing the parades, I could dig out some pictures. I should have got them out so I could show you them. But Like I'm running around as what's that little guy with the big nose? You know, the little with the short pants. I was him in the parade there. Is that Pinocchio or something?
Oh, yes, Pinocchio.
Yeah.
So she had some pretty great costumes.
Yeah, and I was a nun one year, or dressed up as a nun. Yeah.
And those were on floats that went around?
No, we walked.
Oh, you walked?
Walked, yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
And would that have been the Maple Festival or Heritage Day?
Maple Festival, the Maple Festival, yeah. Because we had the big crowd, you know. By the way, the window up there, that's another one of Eileen's things. See the window?
Oh, yes.
The window? The ducks.
So she did like, I see them all over.
Oh
It's
my
beautiful.
gosh, look at that. That's nice.
Oh.
Yeah, that's beautiful. You're right.
And then on the door, you came in the front door, that big door, look.
Yeah.
Look at the door.
fun.
Yeah, I did when I came in.
Yes.
She did that.
That's wonderful. Oh, so artistic. That's great. Whereas there's still an old home day
Yeah.
when you moved up in '82.
I remember where the Baptist churches, they used to have Civil War soldiers would set camp there, dressed up like Civil War soldiers, and they in that area they had little campfires and all that going all night, and they showed you how they cooked in the Civil War days and all that,
Sure.
Yeah.
When did you and your wife donate the benches on the village green?
Well, I said there was the 3 small benches. When I was working in Schenectady, I went to the Schenectady town hall, and they gave me books where they get their benches from. So we ordered them in the mail, and they came. And Charlie Buck, not Charlie Buck, Harry Ham. Harry Ham was the superintendent, and he put them in, those 3 small benches.
Yeah.
And then the bigger benches, Carl Miller, who just recently passed away, he worked for the town. He worked for the state in that garage there in Summit, right before with the police are in the front, and he's the town. I don't know, they have something, and he's in a big garage in the back. So he sort of put those benches together for us. I got Eklund. What used to be the lumber yard on 23. They donated the wood to Eileen, and she had to pay for the metal because Carl couldn't get the metal from the state. He had to pay for it. So Eileen gave the money that she collected the second year. And that had to be. Well, I've been painting, and I paint the benches. I put wood life on it twice a year, at the beginning of the spring and for the winter. That's why it's still in good shape there. And then they decided it was too old, and this year they painted the town painted them. They're green now. I used to keep them, put wood life on them for a long time.
When did you install those? When did you and Eileen install those?
Jesus, it had to be. It had to be in my God, in the early 90s, I guess, 85 in that area, 85 we moved over here full time, so it had to be sometime after 85, around 90 maybe,
Yeah, that was really a nice thing that you did.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Ramona Grange Hall here before it became the Danforth Community Center?
When I first came here, it was the Grange had a thing there, and they were always on Maple Day and all. I'd be selling. They would have breakfast there down the basement. Breakfast,
nice.
And they'd be selling knives and stuff like that upstairs, dinner sets and stuff like that.
Do you remember breakfast at the Maple Festival at the Grange Hall?
Yeah. Breakfast, and then I remember a dinner too, I think. Did they make one or two dinners? I think they did, yeah.
Okay.
And then the dinners we used to go to in the basement of the church, the Methodist church
The
there.
Methodist church,
We used to always go, Eileen and I always went there when Reverend Charles was here. Remember? Because he always came to talk to Eileen, always, you know.
Nice. Yeah. What about the Masonic Hall? Do you remember when what's now Judd Hall was still the Masonic Hall? Did you ever go there?
They also used to have dinners now and then. Yes. I remember going there for dinners, and then for Maple Festival, they'd be selling hot dogs and hamburgers out there. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And just an oddball question or two. Did you ever hear anything about the Underground Railroad going through Schoharie County?
No, I didn't.
No.
Just heard about it. They don't know nothing about it. I just also remember the Heartbreak was a stagecoach stop way back years ago, they claim.
Okay. What about the Virginia Queen? Was that?
It was always, I remember when Claire bought it, that's, you know, and we went there a couple of times. She also had, for New Year's Eve, had big dinners there, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
For everybody, all her friends, you know.
Yeah. And, well, 1982, you wouldn't remember any hippies in Jefferson.
You know.
Okay. All right. Any other, now this is really the most important question of all. Are there any special memories that you'd like to share with us that you don't want lost from the town that, you know, you can think of for us?
No, not really, no. I have no idea. I'm a happy guy, I'm happy I'm here, that's all.
Yeah.
You know, I have a smile for everybody.
You do. You
Yeah.
really do. Well, thank you, Lou.
I miss Father Michael, though, that he moved him to Cooperstown.
I do too.
Yeah, Cooperstown. He was.
Yeah.
I used to go take him out to dinner quite a lot.
Good.
Yeah. And then this other priest that's there, Father Martin, I took him out once or twice to dinner, and then he said, I can't go no more. He said, the bishop don't want me to, because of the virus and all that. He said he wasn't allowed to go out, you know, just stay in the
church was telling him.
grounds there and
Yeah.
eat the meals there, you know.
Oh, well.
They didn't want him to go, and we were afraid he would catch something, so.
Yeah, they couldn't afford to have him catch anything. Thank you, Lou. This was great. We really appreciate your spending the time with us.
Thank you.